What are some of my big flaws? I think so. I have really bad ADHD. Like I don't know if you could tell from watching the stream today, but I have severely poor control over my ADHD. Like really, really bad control of my ADHD. I don't have a good grip on it whatsoever. Um, and one of the big side effects of that is I am really not the easiest person to talk to in a one-on-one conversation. You know, I can stream pretty well because in stream, like I get to just talk over and over, and I don't get like I don't have to like listen, I guess. But when you're actually talking to me as a person, it's just really hard for me to listen to what other people have to say, which is not good. I'm not a good listener. I'm not very good at listening. I'm not a great empathizer either. Um, a lot of the times I feel like I used to describe it like this basically, but I basically feel like at at some point I just kind of had to like really rationalize myself into empathy, if that makes sense. I had to rationalize myself into empathy um, initially. And if I can't, like, if I can't, it's fucked up, honestly, but if I can't, like, rationalize the empathy, I really suck at it. Like, I really suck at empathizing if I don't have like the first time I encounter a new emotion from someone that I've not really encountered, I'm just kind of lost. I don't know. I feel like completely lost in how to react. You know, if someone says something like, "Oh, like something sad happened," I honestly feel like I'm like a complete. I just feel like I turn into that moment. I turn into a robot, and I'm just sitting there, like, what the fuck do I even do? What do I do? What do I say? I don't even know what the correct thing to say is, ever. You know? Unless I have like, obviously this is how it all works, obviously. But unless I have some sort of like experience with that particular situation, you know, that yeah, it's difficult. I feel like I am a weird autism bot sometimes, which is I don't think it's a always a bad quality, but like sometimes I'm pretty rude and sometimes I'm hard to talk to. I'm hard to talk to. I'm a little bit like I'm a little rude, honestly, as a person. Like, I think I was, I think I talked about this with a friend of mine. And by friend of mine, I mean my only friend. But like, sometimes I will be, oh, I talked about this on stream last time. I talked about this on stream. It was my life hack for when your focus starts to run out in a conversation. And what you do is you have to strategically end the conversation with, you have to strategically end the conversation before your focus gives up, basically. Because what'll happen is I'll decide I'm going to dedicate a bit of time to focusing to this person. And I try to dedicate time to focusing to them. But after a while of dedicated focus time, I just start, my focus starts drifting. I start looking at my phone or something. And that makes the other person feel really sad. And so the best thing to do is when that starts to happen, you hit them with a, you know, you say something like, "Oh my God, my house is on fire. I have to go." I don't know. You don't say that. That's a weird thing to say. But you basically just kind of end the conversation before before you make them feel bad by losing focus about the conversation, or you just communicate to them. I really enjoyed listening to you. My focus is running out now, and I don't want to be rude. But that the problem is communicating like that sounds intuitively really good to me, but I don't actually know what that comes across like to another person when you say that out loud to another human being. Well, thanks for talking, but I can't focus on what you're saying to me anymore, so I need to not talk to you anymore for now. But thanks for talking. Like, I don't think like that's true, but I don't think that makes the person feel good. It's kind of a rude thing to say anyway. It's like, what do? You know? it sounds good, but it comes across as autistic. Yeah, you know, I'm my favorite tweet. Sorry for acting autistic. It's because of my autism. The idea of losing focus is seen as intention by neurotypically and internally. It's just like I get that like sometimes people should put a bit of effort into focusing, you know? Sometimes people should put a bit of effort into focusing. Like especially when like on in some moments another person deserves your focus. They deserve it. And if they deserve your focus, like you have to suck it up, basically. You don't have a choice. You got to suck it up. Whatever you can do to make yourself focus is fine, but suck that shit up, okay? Do your fucking thing and just focus, okay? Just if another person deserves it, you know? I think attention can be trained to some extent for sure. The other thing I think is good advice too that my friend gave me is, and this is kind of like it's kind of fucked up, but sometimes you just have to turn the conversation into a mini game to keep yourself interested, which is kind of fucked up, but it's one of the ways, because I know some people that have ADHD and they're really good conversationally and they're really good listeners. And what I think their trick is, I think the trick, because I've done it before to other people, the trick is the conversation itself is the mini game, you know? That's kind of the thing. Like the conversation of like what do I do to like make this person feel happy right now? Or how do I get this person to talk about this subject that I can tell they're passionate about this topic. How do I make them talk about it more? Because right now they don't want to talk about it much. So how do I make them talk about it more? It's kind of like manipulation for good, I guess. Like positive manipulation. I don't know how else to word it. But like focusing on, oh, like this person is like this person is really sad. But yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that. I do that too, but then I worry, am I being too pushy or something? I also talk myself out of like simple emotions pretty frequently. So for example, like, I talk myself out of simple emotions pretty frequently. So let's say, for example, I develop a bit of a crush on a person. Like I have a little bit of a crush on a person, and I think they're kind of like I like talking to them, and I'm actually really interested in them. Well, I have a problem here because now we immediately enter a problem zone. I'm a little interested in a person. I kind of have a bit of a crush on them, maybe. But as soon as that happens, we've entered the fuck zone immediately. Like when I don't mean like the fuck zone as in like sex fuck. I mean like shit's fucked. Okay? We've entered the fucked up zone immediately. Okay? Because if I indulge my interest in that person a little bit, I will be ultra interested. I can't just open up Skyrim, play it for 1 hour, close it, open it up tomorrow, play it for 1 hour, close it, open it up tomorrow, play it for 1 hour, close it. I need to play Skyrim for 14 hours straight. I need to play Skyrim for 14 hours straight the next day. I need to play it for 14 hours straight the next day. I need to play it for 14 hours straight the next day. I need to play for 14 hours straight the next day. I go socialize with other people. I'm sitting there socializing with my friends who have come from France to my country. They've traveled from France. It's the night before they go home, and I'm sitting on the sofa, and all I can think about is, I'm really sad that I had to stop playing Skyrim to come here. And that's the mood I'm in. But then what happens is, today, 3 days later, after that, my friends are here from France, and I was so obsessed with Skyrim that I was actually sad that I had to stop playing Skyrim to go visit them the day before they went home. But now, 3 days later, I'm playing Skyrim, and I'm like, I'm kind of bored of this. I'm kind of over this, honestly. The dungeons are getting a little repetitive now, and the game doesn't feel as fun anymore. And I'm not that excited right now to play Skyrim. And that's okay to do with Skyrim. That's a very okay thing to do to Skyrim. Skyrim can take it. Skyrim doesn't mind if I play it for 42 hours in 3 days. And then, you know what, right? Skyrim doesn't mind. But if that's a person, that's pretty fucked up. You know? That's pretty fucked up. So as soon as I develop a little bit of an interest in a person, the problem is I don't know what to do at this point. Now I've entered a absolutely unwinnable situation, because situation one is I don't follow my actual genuine human emotion. My human emotion in this moment is I want to talk to this person because I'm really interested in what they have to say, and I want to know more about them, and I really want to talk to them. That's my true human feelings. There's nothing fake about it. There's no overthought to them. Those are the genuine emotions I have. I want to talk to this person. I'm really interested in them. But as soon as that happens, I think to myself, I can't do that. I can't actually indulge in my emotions, because what that'll lead to is me talking to that person every single night for a week and being really obsessed with them. And then after a week of being obsessed with them, I'm going to feel like they don't have anything that's like, you know, the dungeons are getting repetitive at this point, you know? I ask what they did today, and they did the same thing that they did yesterday. The dungeons are getting repetitive, you know? The dungeons are getting repetitive. It's not as much fun anymore. And then I stop talking to the person as much. Then stop dating NPCs. But that's like everyone's life is a little repetitive. Like I loop constantly. Like I go through the same spiral I go through a constant spiral of stuff. You know? I do the same shit over and over. All the time I do shit over and over, you know? So it's not just like that, every day is kind of a routine in its own way, yeah. It's the novelty and reward that hooks you into that cycle of fixation. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's not just people are NPCs, an absence of novelty sometimes loses that hook. Yeah, it's like, it's just, I was never good at I used to, see, this is the difference. I don't know when this happened to me. I think it was when I started playing League of Legends, okay? Because, funny tangent, funny way to start a sentence. But before I played League of Legends, okay, I would play games on I would play games on my Xbox, okay? And my parents would give me a few games every once in a while. I would have a few games every once in a while, but I didn't have like tons and tons of games, you know? I got like the big releases and stuff, but like when I tell you, like Halo 3, I 100% did that game. What else? Halo Reach, I 100% did that game. Like any game that I played, I 100%, like, I was a completionist when I was playing games when I was younger. I was 100%ing the games that I liked. I was playing them till I couldn't play them any longer. I was like I would literally play, I would be able to play the same game over and over and over and over and over again and not get bored and stuff. And I would always find a new interesting thing about it. But at a certain point in my life, I think once I got a PC and stopped playing games on the Xbox, and I suddenly had like, oh, I can play a browser game today, and I can play a different browser game tomorrow, and I can play a different game tomorrow, and I can play League of Legends where every game is a little different, and I can play X game and X game, and I had a bunch of different games at my availability, and I could play different things all the time. I stopped being a completionist because the dopamine source was, there was a quicker hit of dopamine for switching to something new and novel rather than sticking through to grind out and complete something from the very beginning. And I think that was not a good thing for me, because I think that shift in mentality in how I would approach video games also translates, I think, in a shift in mentality to like how I view everything, really, which is that I get very, very obsessive about things, and then I keep going until the novelty wears off, I guess. But I don't really know a good way to correct for that behavior, which is difficult. That's the hard part. I don't know how to correct for that behavior. As a kid, I'd play the same games over and over and be happy with them. Now I have a ton of unfinished games and have too much choice. The thing is, I don't know if this is a I don't know if this is a fucked up thing to say, but I also have too much choice with people as well. It's not just that I have too much choice with games. I have too much choice with people. I think this is true for everyone. And it's not exactly true for everyone, but like, if you are bored of your current people, you can join a new Discord server with 5,000 different people that you've never talked to before. And you can just go join a different Discord server and talk to new people. Or you can go to a different social media and meet new people. Or you can go find a different place and talk to new people there and stuff. And you can, if you ever feel like it's too much work with the things you have, it's too much work and too little dopamine, you can always go find something that's easier and more fun and stuff. So even whether it's like, it sounds like I get fixated, then I get exhausted by the lack of novelty. And I feel like working on the fixation might help. You have more freedom between hooks, and working on the exhaustion would help you when you want to stay on track. It sounds like what you're looking for is to be able to stay on track with that someone, and you're worried about losing that hook and hurting them. Yeah, that is the fear. That is the fear. The fear is basically hurting someone else because I have like my own shit that I can't really figure out. I don't want to like leave a trail of destruction in my wake, I guess, because I get really interested in people. So like a big motivating factor for like, I haven't pursued a relationship in years. Like I think the last relationship I had was 3 years ago. And in my opinion, personal opinion, I think there are people I could date. If I wanted to date people, I think there are people that I could date. That is my opinion, you know? I don't think it's a weird thing to say. And there are people that I've had interest in, but I've absolutely never allowed myself to pursue anything that is like, I have never allowed myself really to pursue a relationship, because I literally just feel like you can't let the fear of hurting others impact your own happiness, is a lesson you've learned. But the thing is, it's not a fear of hurting others. It's like, I mean, maybe this is the definition of a fear of hurting others, but it's like a foregone conclusion, I think, in my mind. It's not a fear. It's like I know for a fact, like, it'll not turn out well. That's how I think of it in my mind. It's not like I'm afraid I might hurt someone. I'm like, I know for a fact if I try to date someone, I will probably. Hazard with relationships into ADHD. When one loses focus, it triggers the others. That is true. I think there's like a when I think that I don't know the exact like wording to describe, but yeah, like when one person loses focus, especially because if both people have ADHD, this is how I feel at least. You can so something that I struggle with actually. Remember when I said I'm not good at empathy? Is I can identify. Is this a weird thing to say? I can identify that people are feeling emotions, and I think I'm very good at identifying what they're like. Not very good. I would say I'm usually not great at it actually, but like I make very simple, common mistakes a lot. But I can often identify that people are like feeling emotions, but I can't quite identify exactly what it is, I guess, or like what to do about it or how to approach it or something. So like I can very easily read when a person is upset. But once I know they're upset, I have no idea how to I don't know how to process it. I get if that makes sense. Like I can tell that a person is upset with me, but I have absolutely no understanding of like what now. Like I'm lost, you know? Like I guess yeah. A good example would be like it's like sometimes I see like very clearly that like sometimes so I don't know, this is common, I guess. It's not like unsure of the right thing to say. So I'll use like an example. So let's say like there's my two my two friends, okay, who are dating each other, right? And I can or whatever. I can very clearly pick up like I remember one time it was over a really silly it was like a silly thing, but I remember that like my friend Poe's girlfriend was was a little mad at him, okay? And I remember I could like he didn't realize she was mad at him, but I was like I remember when we went to go get food and stuff together, and while we were out I was like, "Are you dense? Are you dense? Can you not see? Like she's obviously mad at you. Can you not see this? How can you not see? Are you dense?" It's very obvious. But in my head, the reason that I think that she's mad is totally wrong. I'm 100% wrong on the reason. I can't, I have, the way that I can identify that she is mad, but I have no capacity to understand why. It's like, I can very clearly tell the emotion, but I cannot, I have, my actual understanding of why they feel that way is like completely off. It's totally off. It's just entirely off sometimes. Sometimes it's okay, but you know. Sometimes I'm okay at empathizing, but most of the time I'm just totally off base. I just get the emotion right sometimes. I structure your reward and motivation differently, so you have different expectations of others' motivations. I do think that is true. I remember that was a big thing for me in the past as well. Like, I remember someone saying to me, like, I remember the question, like, would you take a bullet for, like, your best friend or something? And I was like, well, of course not. But, like, if someone was going to shoot me, I would not want my best friend to take the bullet for me either. You know? And my friend was like, no, like, I'd take a bullet for my best friend. I'm like, well, like, that's cool, but, like, don't expect that from me, because I'm not doing it, okay? I'm not going to do it. Like, in my best scenario, we both let the other person get shot. That's my win, you know? Like, in their best world scenario, the two people would jump in front of each other's bullets, whereas in my scenario, neither person would jump in front of the bullet, you know? And your win, nobody gets shot? Yeah, of course. Oh, thank you so much for subscribing. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. And thanks for honestly, it was nice to have your input when I was talking, because I tend to be a bit of a rambler, for sure. It's nice to have a person to balance me out, because I'm a little bit of a fucking rambler. So, Yeah, I'm a little wild sometimes. I talk a lot, you know? Talk a little bit. You ramble the other way? That's fine. See, that works. That helps for me a lot. Because if the other person doesn't have the ability to just talk over me, then I will just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, you know? And I need the other when I'm interacting with another person, I love when they kind of battle me for talking, if that makes sense. Like when I interact with my friend Poe, the conversations literally will go like we'll constantly be just cutting into each other's sentences. Like he'll have just said 1,000 words in about 20 seconds, and then I'm like, okay, but like, and then so it's. But then that's not really what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is like this. And he's like, well, okay, but I get what you're trying to say, but I understood what you were trying to say. Paul on Twitter, yeah, he's my IRL friend. One of my only friends. But that's fine. I don't need many. But we just have like ADHD fucking massive combos, you know? I want to do my XQC impression because I just thought about it. Because I watched this XQC clip, okay? XQC speaking gibberish.
Jag är supposed to say the flight's supposed to monster, dude. Why would any dude,
you make me I love him so much. I love him so much. I love the way he talks.
No, okay, I remember.
How am I supposed to... I love him so much. I love him so much. He's so precious. He's such a darling.
Because I get mad, man. I get mad, and it's an opportunity
He's so amazing.
And reach my goal, dude. It's crushing because there's so much invested in something I don't get to finish goal, right? So the progress is not worth a fucking mental loss of it. You wanna aim to the right?
I love him so much.
Dude, it's guys, I'm not an architect. I don't like this is too like tight.
He sounds like he sounds like he's an auctioneer.
He's gonna win against everyone.
And it's gonna hand over there. We'll win that one.
We got permanent armor. I'm
in this game.
Just say you know I think that's with some of you guys. I don't know if we're gonna send a keyboard.
Oh, what a perfect, beautiful, sweet angel. Eminem IRL. Eminem learned by watching XQC's streams, okay? Eminem trained for Rap God by watching XQC's streams.
This is like angle. The colors have been bad. The color, and then we still don't do one almost every game. Our rating it. I didn't do we be able to do it? Right here. Dude. You know what it's
He's so perfect. God, if XQC was a transphobic incel, I would date him in a heartbeat, okay? I would date him instantly. He was a transphobic incel. That's all I need, okay? Especially one that's good at video games. I need okay, here's the thing. I need to date a person who is better than me at video games. Is that fucked up of me to say? Like, one of the criteria for, like, a partner that I have, one of my, like, it's not actually a deal breaker, but it's like it honestly, in a way, kind of is, but it's not really. It's like one of those, like, you know, like when you go on to, like, you know when you go on, like, Tinder or whatever? Or not Tinder, I don't know, a dating app. And you can select, like, you can pick your preferences. And they're kind of, like, surface level preferences. Like, if you liked a person for every other trait that they had, and they were lacking, like, one thing, you probably wouldn't give a shit that much, you know? Like, when someone says, oh, I don't want to date a guy that has facial hair, but then they, like a guy because they like every single thing about him, and he happens to have facial hair, they're not going to be like, nope, everything else about you is good, but your facial hair is the deal. Like, some people might, but usually it's like, they're like little, like, minor preferences, I guess. And yeah, No, the better than me at video games is an important one, honestly. I just want to play video games with the person who's better than me at them. You know? You need a boyfriend who's better than you at video games and mean to you about it. What I like is, I actually like when they're better than me at video games, and then I torment them about it. I torment them about not being good at video games. And they know that they're better than me. So it's not like I'm calling them, it's not like I'm talking down to them. I'm talking up at them, but I'm calling them bad when I'm worse than them. Which makes it fine. Like bullying people for being bad at video games, but I'm worse than them. But if I was better than them and I was bullying them about being bad at video games, it would be shitty. You know what I mean? 10 hours? I've done more. I think my best stream was 13 or 14 hours, I think, so far. Your one girlfriend's better than you, the other's worse. You feel like you're Malcolm in the middle. Malcolm Midwer. Yeah, no. That happens a lot. Like, I don't like to be Malcolm Midwer. I don't like to be teasing someone who's not as good at me as something, or whatever. Maybe not as good as a weird word, but you know what I mean. Teasing someone who's like, maybe like slightly more insecure than me about a thing, I guess. Or I don't know if that's the right word either. But we'll just say like, basically like punching down, I guess, in a teasing way. You're so smart. Punching down in like a teasing way is like not really that fun for me because it just makes me feel like a bully, I guess. It makes me feel like a bully. But like punching up at someone is really fun, especially when they're just like, especially when they actually get annoyed by it, then it's really fun. I love when punching up at people actually makes them annoyed. It's so fun. Oh, ah, ha, 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 ha. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Okay. All right. 10 hours up. Let's end the stream. We did good. It's midnight. Everyone, go to sleep. Go the fuck to sleep. Go to bed. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna take my makeup off. Maybe. Or maybe I'll try to take some selfies or something. I don't know. I have like, anyway, it's nice. I'll be back. Anyway. I won't stream tomorrow because I'm getting I have an appointment and I might not stream for the next 2 days. But give me like 3 or 4 days and I'll be back, okay? A 3 or 4 day break from streaming. And then I'll be back, okay? Mwah. Have a good night. I'll see ya. And yeah. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. I love y'all. Oh yeah, thank you. The makeup is cool. Last showing. Alright. Goodbye for real.